Jeff Parker here. Happy New Year!
Here to
I
you
wanted to
too.
blow a horn for you, you know?
Looking forward to 2021, definitely.
I know, we certainly all are, and it was, you know, did you have a really good weekend though?
It was quiet, just a immediate family, so it was nice. And I mentioned to you before the show started that I got in the kitchen and cooked a special meal, so it was kind of fun to do that. And so we enjoyed the evening, yeah.
That's nice. So you kind of took one step in the right direction for 2021 to try something new.
Try something new,
so
definitely.
I like that. We'll be talking a little bit about that later in the program because I'm going to talk about some resolutions. Nonetheless, we still have COVID. It's still here. It hasn't gone away overnight, unfortunately.
Exactly.
So I know you have some updates for us.
I do. So unfortunately, the numbers are still high, and we're seeing it throughout the county and the state. The hope is obviously that the vaccine starts to get implemented as soon as possible. With regards to the numbers, these are reported as of yesterday. Now, they didn't report on the day before, so this may be a little bit of accumulation. 4,400 is a lot of cases, obviously, and unfortunately, 26 deaths. And I noted on the deaths that unfortunately, these residents are living in normal residential neighborhoods, not in skilled nursing or not in assisted living. So that means it's everywhere, and we got to be careful about that. Obviously, the real scare right now for our operations out there in the county and the state is the hospitalization rate, and at 2,097, it's over 2,000 hospitals being occupied, and that's impacting all kinds of hospitalization. And I was hearing that on the radio this morning, making sure that people who need the service are getting to the hospitals for any care, not just the COVID issue. And 501 people in ICUs, that's a really high number. So that is really the crux of this need to be conservative out there, be careful out there, because it's really impacting the ability to treat people now. And that's what they don't want to get into, is to the point where they're starting to ration care. That would be the scary thing.
Right, and then of course you still can contact 911
Absolutely.
and they will still help you.
Absolutely.
So it's just a matter of, you know, the availability of our hospitals, which so far as we know, our local hospitals are still okay, but they can always make room. So there's always the resources to expand, correct?
That's correct. In fact, one of the reports that I saw on TV was the kind of the expanded outdoor triage area that UCI did up there at their campus. And at the UCI hospital, they were able to put kind of a screening area where they could get people who needed emergency care triaged at the very beginning, and then separated out whether they were COVID issues or just regular hospital care issues. So they were doing that in the parking lot. They came up with this really neat. It was very, very covered, very, very isolated, very clean, obviously, because they're in that kind of environment. It was pretty neat that they were put together that kind of outdoor hospital that quick.
Well, right, and that's good thinking, because obviously they're going to be needing that. So, all right, good. What other numbers?
Well, on our note in the Laguna Woods, in the city of Laguna Woods, we're up to 211 cases, unfortunately. So again, seeing that grow, and 13 deaths, unfortunately. So that was up from 11 to 13, and so the cases are up too. So again, not surprising given all of the COVID that's out there, and really. Go to this next page here. You can see that we're still very, very high on the cases per 100,000. So we're clearly in the purple zone still for a long, long time. The governor extended the stay-at-home order for 3 weeks, so we're now basically into the end of January with the stay-at-home order. And that means a lot of our operations here at the village are back to being less open. Some of the activities that we've talked about, we're still able to do golf and singles and tennis and singles and pickleball, but pickleball doubles is not allowed. Certain things aren't allowed, and we're making and doing everything we can with regards to the safety of our residents here and the safety of our employees, and making sure that we are cleaning, disinfecting, and if somebody's getting sick, we're shutting down that facility until we can address and make sure it's super clean before we let people back in there.
Well, right, and that is something that I think we had talked about before, is the amount of staff. you know, sometimes it's not easy to have the staffing for all of the things that you want to do. And that was one of the reasons why I think you had to close some of the things before, correct?
Right. And the key point there is, again, we have to create a safe environment for our employees, not just our residents. So, and unfortunately, again, this goes back to all the social distancing and the masking. We've had employees that have been in contact with people who have been COVID positive. So we're basically asking those employees to get checked, to get tested, and make sure stay at home until we get that report back before you come back. So that impacts our staffing too as well.
Right.
And so we want to just make sure that everybody is in the safest environment they can be in.
Now, I understand that since the numbers are high and we are sort of going in I mean, I hate to say a backward situation. We really aren't any more forward. We're just sort of streamlining as much as we can. What do you anticipate to happen? I know there was a breeze, or not a breeze, but a blast that went out last week regarding some of the clubhouses. Tell me about that.
Well, one of the things is that we're looking at, there's two things. One is how we're going to operate the clubhouses in the future. You know, what we need to do is safety protocols, make sure we have all of those in place. Especially as the vaccine comes out, we can start to look at when are we going to be able to operate again. So that's one of the things. The other is, with regards to working with the county, if we do get into the idea of having vaccines, are we going to use any of our clubhouses as a distribution center? Okay. And how would that work? Mm-hmm. Talking about for the community of Laguna Woods, not just the village, whether or not one of our facilities would be the best way to implement some of that. Mm-hmm. On Wednesday, there's a task force involved with the vaccine, and we're going to be participating in that telephone call that comes out. Okay. And so we've been invited to that meeting, so that's really good that they've heard us and they said, hey, real important. And this again is really focused on getting the vaccine out to people who are 75 years and older, which has put them in the highest priority, basically. Right. And so how do we do that? How many people in the village do we have? And then working hopefully with this committee, Memorial Care, maybe we can set something up here in the near future where we can get our residents the vaccine if they so choose.
Oh, well, that's great. I mean, that will be interesting to know.
Yeah.
What time is that going to be on Wednesday?
The meeting is at 9:30 on Wednesday, okay. And Carlos from our security director is going to be there, and so is Susan. I have a VMS meeting, so I won't be able to attend. I'll be in the VMS meeting, but as soon as we have that, then that'll be some good information that I can report on Friday.
Yeah, that sounds great. I mean, that'll be good to know, especially, I'm glad that you guys, I mean, you really were good about letting people know, hey, we want to be on that task force or at least be in on it somehow. Right. I mean, that's important. We have an awful lot of people here that fit that category.
Exactly.
So it was really important for them to include us. So excellent job on that to just kind of get your foot in that door.
It's nice to be included because, like you said, we have a population that is so high in that category right. of the 75 and over right. that we're critical to the county in making that accomplishment.
Exactly. Yeah, and you know, there's a lot of people here who do a lot for the community right back, so we want to make sure that they're healthy and safe just as much as possible. So.
Absolutely.
Good. All right, what else do you have?
I got one other thing, and again, I mentioned it last week. If you had a Christmas tree and you took it down in January instead of waiting, right after Christmas, you took it down, between the 5th and the 8th, we're picking up Christmas trees at curbside. You need to call into Resident Services, which is at the 949-597-4600 number. Call Resident Services, say, hey, you got a Christmas tree, put it out at 48-hour notice type of thing. So we can go 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. So you can get it this week, starting tomorrow. It's picking up, but they do need 48 hours prior notice. So if you have one, we need to get it out there. Please give Resident Services a call today and get it scheduled.
Good, and get that out there soon because they're probably pretty crispy right now.
Yeah, they're drying out, and we're going to mulch them, and we'll use it.
Oh, that's right, and you put them back out there.
Yeah, so we'll put it back into our community.
That's great, that's good. Well, thank you so much. Again, Happy New Year, and we'll look forward to seeing you again on Friday.
Sounds great. Thanks, Lisa.
All right, thank you. And stay tuned because when we come back, we are going to have some New Year's resolutions that we think you'll be able to keep. Stay tuned.